Hi, this is going to be a video on a nested if statement. So in this video we're going to be talking about how to basically put an if statement inside another if statement. So in the previous video we did a simple if where we dictated someone's bonus. And we said if they get a job rating greater than 3, they get 1,000. If they don't, they get nothing. So we are now going to be doing a nested if. So we're going to be able to do a more complicated formula. We can now assign multiple bonuses, for example. So we can say if you get a job rating greater than 3. Then we want to give you $1,000, a $1,000 bonus. If you get a job rating of exactly 3, we feel you deserve $500. And if you don't meet either of those criteria, then you're going to get nothing. So we're going to start by opening up our if statement, as so. And again, just in case you forgot about this, as you're typing, once you type equals, that basically tells Excel that I'm going to input a function now. The second you start typing, you're going to see a list of functions that relate to what it is you're typing in. So I typed in I, so all the functions that begin with I have appeared. So a lot of times you'll be able to find what you're looking for in there, especially if you maybe forgot the function and you have an idea of what you want the function to do. Like the other day I was trying to use the count function. I didn't remember that there was a count function, but I wanted to see if there was. I wanted to count up. I wanted something just to count how many cells had data in it, and so I just typed equals C, and I started typing the word count, and lo and behold, there were several count functions, and I was able to figure out what I wanted. But anyways, I digress. So we're going to open up our if statement. So again, we're going to say if their job rating, so we're going to click on the job rating, is greater than 3, okay, then they're going to get a $1,000 bonus. So we did our logical test. We're going to hit comma, and that's going to ask us to put the value if true. Okay, so if their job rating is greater than 3, they get $1,000, comma. Now we're not going to put the value if false, because you want to put all of your criteria that people can that you want to put all the criteria for the true value first before you put in the false value. Because basically you want Excel to say, okay, if this, then they get this. But they can also do this and get something else. And they can also do this and get something else. And if they don't do any of that, that's when you put your false statement in. So you want that's kind of what Excel is expecting. So now I've put in my first if criteria. If the job rating is greater than 3, they get $1,000. Now I'm going to start my next function. So I'm going to type if open parenthesis. I don't need to do another equal sign, because the only purpose of the equal sign is let Excel know that everything after this equal sign is going to be a function. So I'm going to do another if statement. So I'm going to type if open the parentheses, and we're now back to another logical test. So now this is the second criteria. First criteria was job rating greater than 3. Now I want the job rating to be equal to 3. So if the job rating is equal to 3, comma, that's my next logical test. And if that's true, they're going to get a $500 bonus, comma. Now I'm on to the value if false, which is nothing, and parenthesis, we officially have our nested if statement. You can hit enter. And I'm actually kind of glad I made that mistake. What I forgot to do on the end, as you can see, these green sets of parentheses apply to this if statement. And then the black set of parentheses I started over here applied to the first if statement I started. I never closed that last the first if statement I started. I should have put 2 sets of parentheses here. You can see that Excel is really good at color coding which parentheses go with which parentheses, so the green ones go together. You can see I opened the black parenthesis, but I never closed it anywhere in my statement. I need to close it at the end, and I didn't do that. And so Excel noticed that error, and actually what it does, it's really nice. If you make a small error like that, they let you know, hey, you made an error, and we are pretty sure we picked up on the problem. And here's our correction. Take a look at our formula. Take a look at your formula. Is this what you wanted? And of course, you can see they have the 2 parentheses at the end here. So it actually did accurately pick up on what my mistake was, and it has offered me to fix my mistake for me. And so I'm going to click on yes. And if we click back on the cell, you can see my 2 parentheses are in there now. So both if statements have been closed. And so I do have my function. This is what it's called, a nested if statement, because I've nested a second if statement inside my current if statement. And you can get really as complicated as you like with these if statements. You don't have to be limited to just 2 if statements. I believe Excel gives you the ability to nest up to 64 if statements within each other. I don't know why you would want a 64 if statement formula, but to each his own. I think once you get to the point where you're doing 5 or 6 if statements, you're probably working with something that you would be better off. You would be better off using a VLOOKUP or an HLOOKUP at that point if you have that many if statements. But what we want to do now is we want to copy and paste our nested if statement down. So I'm just going to double click there, and you can see anyone who got a 3 for a job rating got $500, and then you can also see that anyone who got a 4 or 5, so they're greater than 3, got their 1,000. The 1s and 2s got 0. So you can see the nested if statement did in fact work. So this is a really great tool. I use it all the time. I'm actually when I teach my kids, I have to store a lot of data for my kids, and they do these tests 3 or 4 times a year, and I record all that data, and I record their growth, and I have spreadsheets that use these if statements that make my life so much easier. So there's a million different uses for if statements, and I hope this video was helpful. My next video is going to be on compound if statements that use ifs, if functions, and functions, and or functions as well. So please, if you're interested in that, by all means, go and watch it. And thank you for watching this video. And I'm finished.